The Ram Mandir donation theft case is being called a betrayal of faith, a betrayal of millions of Ram Bhakts, Hindu devotees that the current BJP leadership claims to champion. To talk about this, I have with me somebody from within the saffron fold who has been very deeply involved with the Ram Mandir movement, the international president of the VHP, Mr. Alok. So thanks very much for speaking to Peak TV. At the outset, sir, let me begin by asking you, do you think this has discredited and weakened significantly the moral authority of the VHP, of the RSS? Do you think that to some extent uh, you have lost the right, dare I say that you are custodians of Hinduism and the Hindu faith?
We do not claim ourselves to be the custodians of Hindu faith. We are one of the organizations which is working amongst the Hindus. Let us begin with two facts. Fact one, we admit that there has been the stealing of Charava in Ram Janma, and it is a shocking news. It has hurt all Hindus. So we begin with admitting it. The second fact, the day the Supreme Court delivered the Ram Janma judgment, I said in a press conference that our job regarding Ram Mandir is over. The construction of the temple and the running of it is not PHP's responsibility. And you may have noticed.
So I can interject again. Because let me just ask you a follow-up there. Because these were your men who were at the
I think that would be so. I'm not avoiding your answer. On that day, in that press conference, I said we will not run the temple, we will not construct it. And you may have noticed that when the Prime Minister came there on several occasions and the President came there, none of us was on the stage. Now, Champatraj is from Vishwa Hindu Parishad, that is all right. But he is not there as our nominee. He does not represent us in the Vishwa Hindu Parishad. Your question is something like this. That is, somebody is a high government officer and he is also a member of the club. As a member of the club, he embezzles money. Would you hold the whole government of India responsible for it? Because he is a high officer there. The two roles are different. The forums are different. He did not represent us. So I do not think that it spills over on the VHP or the RSS. It is at the agenda of some people to somehow involve the VHP and RSS to malign it. So, while I would emphasize that all the guilty persons should be caught and punished, I would say that to implicate us in it is unfair to us.
So why I'm asking that is because for the VHP, the RSS, this was a civilizational project. You know, for decades and decades on end, this was the center of the political discourse, the center of the social discourse, as far as the BJP is concerned, you know, as far as the RSS is concerned. And manifesto after manifesto, the Ram Mandir was sort of claimed as a civilizational project. So when you claim this, that, you know, we are the people who are delivering the civilizational project, isn't it your responsibility also to kind of fix accountability when such a discrepancy or irregularity happens?
The responsibility is to be fixed. The guilty persons are to be identified. They should be tried and punished. I do not deny this. But how do we become a part of something with which we have no connection? We were not running the temple. We were not connected with its construction. But then, your question in general, how does it affect the Hindutva movement? And I think that this is a temporary aberration. There has to be a prayashchit of it. The prayashchit could be identifying the guilty persons and sending them to the jail. Okay. And when that happens, and when the society is assured that adequate systems of protecting the Ram's money are in place, they would accept the prayership and the global civilizational project of uniting the Hindus, inspiring them to live Hindu lives for the benefit of the earth who shall continue.
So why I also ask this is because don't you think that it is there are say a matter of shame that the temple footfall has fallen this much, the temple donations have fallen significantly ever since this came to light. Don't you think it's a matter of shame for the entire saffron leadership that this has happened on their watch?
Your statistics is not correct. The Hindus may have a bad feeling about the management of the temple, but their relationship with the Ram remains intact. Their relationship with the Ram Janmabhoomi remains intact. And therefore, all the information is that there has been no decline in the footfalls in the Rama temple.
And there has been a nearly 60% fall according to several reports.
Incorrect. There are other people who have interviewed other rickshawalas and shopwalas to confirm that it has not fallen. I would say that this narration is being created by some people who are animated to the Hindutva movement. I can assure you, on the basis of information, but the footfalls had not come down.
So you said that this is a narrative that is being created by those who are enemies of the Hindutva movement. But here, then an important distinction has to be made. Now it's no longer a matter of just faith. It's a matter of failure, a governance failure. So questions will be asked. And then you cannot dub those questions as anti-Hindu or anti-Hindutva. And let me come to a letter that you have written to.
Before that, you are absolutely right. The people who are genuinely raising the concerns about the theft of Charhava money have a right to do that. When they say that they are hurt, it's a fact that they are allowed to state. So the two things are not the same. As far as Charhava money and the criminality of it, we are not denying it. It should be investigated and people punished.
So what I was saying was that recently you had the BJP president who said at a rally in Lucknow that all members of the opposition, including Rahul Gandhi, Akhilesh Yadav, Arvind Kejriwal, etc., are all anti-Hindu, and those. In fact, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath also raised the issue of Mathura when Akhilesh Yadav questioned, the irregularities in the Ram Mandir. Don't you say it's the right of the opposition to question governance failures? It is a job of the opposition to question governance failure, to question corruption, to question embezzlement of funds, to question the fact that land was bought much at rates that were much higher than the circle rate, etc. So these were genuine concerns, and the opposition and the media have all the right to ask questions on that.
And when we go forward then that and say, if we will come to power, we will turn Ayodhya into a Siaram Dham. And when they exaggerate their figures, and some responsible person says more than 20,000 crores have been stolen. You were referring to my letter. All that I said, I made no allegation. I only said, Officer Ram Gopal Yadav, you are a very senior politician. You are a learned person. You were a professor. When you say 20,000 crores, I would assume that you have some information. You have computed this figure on the basis of things available with you. So please, why don't you help all of us by giving all this information, the basis of it, the documents concerning this, the people who have informed you, to the police so that the matter is properly investigated. No allegation. And if they have something and if they have not spoken this figure from the air, why should they be hesitant in helping the police out?
Okay.
That's all that I said.
So the essence of a letter was that opposition leaders who have made certain allegations and who have questions that
Certain extreme allegations.
should be called and they should be scrutinized or whatever. I mean, they should get information to the investigating
Their possession be sought.
their cooperation be sought. But my question to you, sir, is as a senior leader in the saffron fold, shouldn't you be calling for the people who were at the helm in the trust to be scrutinized? Because, I mean, you don't have people like Champat Rai, people like Mr. Gopal Rao or Anil Mishra, etc., who are even named in the SIR. There are people who are relatives of these people who have been accused of masterminding the fraud, who have been accused of embezzling funds, who've been accused of siphoning off funds, whose lifestyle suddenly changed, etc. And these people are relatives of powerful trustees like Mr. Gopal Rao and Mr. Champat Rai and Anil Mishra, etc. So shouldn't you be calling for these people to be scrutinized? Because the concern is that these big fish will are being protected by the investigating authorities.
I could contradict you on certain points, but that will dilute my answer. My answer is that where there are allegations against any person, howsoever high he may be, including the three persons that you named, all those allegations should be investigated. I'll tell you for your information that both the SIT and the police have several times interrogated all three of them. None of them is above the law. Their conduct and their part in the criminality, if any, must be investigated.
Should they be arrested?
Do I take this decision or the police takes this decision?
In your opinion, if there are people who are directly involved in mastermind,
And you say that is to be found out. And the police has to take a decision as to at which time, if at all, they may be arrested. It is not this कि उसको गिरफ्तार कर रहे हो. So, if the police at any time feels that for their investigations, the arrest or remand of any of these persons is required, they will still do that.
why I'm asking that, sir, is because the allegation is that there was this nexus of people potently placed in the running of the Ram Mandir who were directly linked to powerful trustees. And these people enjoyed a sense of impurity. They were answerable to Bobby. This is basically the essence of the case, beyond the tens of hundreds of crores that have been allegedly siphoned off. So in that case, where you have these powerful trustees, drivers, their relatives, their nephews, who are at the center of this controversy, how do we trust? How do us as believers of the Hindu faith trust the fact that it will be an impartial investigation when Mr. Chamtat Rai wasn't even asked to step down, until yesterday when there was a meeting and then it was decided that his resignation should be accepted. When the investigating authorities, when the chief minister or whoever is at the helm, in the BJP leadership or the trust leadership, when they didn't even ask Mr. Champat Rai to step down until yesterday, how do we trust that this will be an impartial investigation?
Your information is not right. He tendered his resignation within 48 hours of the filing of FIR.
But was accepted only yesterday.
Because the meeting was held yesterday. And secondly, this is a classic case where all those persons who are making allegations, none of them filed an FIR. Under the law, they can do it because they are acquainted with the facts. They did not. This is a case when the trust was being alleged for these criminal actions. It is the trust who volunteered to file an FIR. We have several times repeated the relatives of such and such. Champak Rai, no relative was there.
But a close aid, Ramshad, who is a that's very close.
When somebody does not have a wife or a brother or a sister or a son, then you say, all right, is no relative is driver. But then investigate it also. And investigate it from Champakji also. We are not demanding any impunity. We are saying do whatever the book says that you should do. Investigate it fully against these persons also. So, where is the question of partiality? Okay. And as I said earlier, somebody has tried a petition in the Supreme Court that the Supreme Court order monitoring. We are not on the way. Do whatever impartial things you can do.
Right. So why you say that nobody from the opposition filed an FIR? The fact also is that despite forming an SIT, an FIR was not filed for weeks on end by
The Supreme Court has said in two different judgments that when there is something like this, you have two options. You can begin with the FIR or you can begin with the SIT. So, it was on the request of the trust that an SIT was formed. And when SIT presented its preliminary report, the trust filed an FIR. There's no delay. There's no avoidance.
Okay. Just a couple of last questions. So there's a 2020 audit report that said that the management of the temple was highly unprofessional, despite the temple receiving more than 3,000 crore rupees, excluding jewelry. There was no standard operating procedure for the accounting of all of that. And this was a 2020 audit report that had some really damning findings. Despite this, all these warnings were ignored. They had predicted that there will be financial chaos and that this was a disaster in the making. Given all of that, would you say that now the temple management needs a complete overhaul and much more transparency? And why do you think these warnings were ignored? Such, the scathing findings were ignored.
Honestly, I do not know. And I would like all these things to be investigated as far as the audit report you are saying. I am not even aware if there is a report or not. So, on that, you and me agree that there should be investigation of it. So, Mr. Bro, just a second. You ask me about the overall answer. So, please. The allegations are centered around three persons. The two of them have resigned. The third was only an invitee, and his name has been dropped from the list of invitees. Right. So that much action is already there. The trustees have decided that such kind of things can only be managed professionally. They can't be managed on the basis of trust or informally. So they have appointed a CEO, Lorry. They have appointed a committee, a search committee, to appoint a CEO. I think they have learned their lessons, and I think that they would lead to a system adopting fair practices from other temples, having a CEO who has sufficient experience in administration, and they would make sure that in future there can be no diversion of funds.
All right. So my last question to you, this is a slightly different debate, but when you have, say, saffron mobs, school people on Hinduism, many of VHP's moms have also come into question, recent VHP. Many of the VHP moms, for example, last year during Christmas, there were multiple cases whether the VHP mobs are responsible for vandalizing certain Christmas decorations, and there are multiple such cases that have come to light. Be that as it may, my question to you is that this idea that other Hindus need to take a certificate from a VHP or other RSS organization on being Hindu, do you think that that credibility to a large extent has been lost? And from now on, other Hindus need not take certificates from the EHP or other RSS organizations on being Hindi.
I am in the VHP for a long time. I have not found anybody issuing any certificates. We know we are one of the organizations working amongst the Hindus. And there are others. We have interaction with most of them. So we don't certify. But when somebody claims a political party that has all its life fought against the temple, claiming Hinduism, we have a right to show mirror to their party. It is an answer. It is in response. They invite it, so they get it. Second, it has become a very unfortunate thing. When some terrorists attack some voters in Mumbai, next day all the newspapers said, very right. But why? One community as a whole should not be held responsible for it. I agree with this. Unfortunately, what happens is that if some fringe organization, say in Bengaluru, attacks a couple or two persons sitting in a park, you hide in sir. Hindutva forces had it again. And therefore, by implication, you suggest us being the major Hindutva organizations. I'm saying it with responsibility. You said many cases over much. I say it with responsibility. So that in the past, I came to the VHP in 18. In the past 8 years, you cannot point out even 10 cases where the allegation was against the VHP acting in vandalism.
This recently, last December, you had multiple reports of VHP personnel directly being responsible for harassing people, for singing Christmas carols, for chanting Hanuman Chalisa outside churches. There are multiple documented cases, sir.
I would invite you to produce the. Let us talk about them. We have been categorical in telling other people to work within the law and the constitution. If somebody in his church sings something, settle. VHP, Bajrang would not interfere.
So you were saying all these reports are false and there will be police cases filed, people have been arrested. VHP personnel have been
I'm
arrested.
saying, collect your reports. In most cases, it would be people or organizations other than the VHP. So, just refresh it. We can meet again when you refresh your reports and come. We don't do it.
Okay. So we can go on endlessly on this because, like I said, there have been police cases filed and there have been people arrested, and those people are directly from the DSP. But is there any such cases of violence you would condemn it? Right, surely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Working within the constitution and the law. And we have trained the Bajrang Dal workers. If somebody is carrying cows for killing, do stop him. Do surround him. Take him to the police station. We have trained our people as to the contents of the FIR. We have trained our people to take custody of the cows. But no violence, no infringement of law.
You were mentioning the reports. I just found out one headline, and this is one of the many headlines. VHP Bajrang Dal activists arrested for Christmas vandalism in Assam.
So let us find out what happened next. Did the police found this true?
Okay. The police say that they have arrested them on allegation of vandalism, and the case has been registered as well, and they're now in jail.
You were right that we can go endlessly on it. We have to find out what happened thereafter. We are consciously been making efforts that our people do not execute law.
All right. Thank you so much for speaking to us.